Greetings, fellow dungeon delvers, and welcome to Dorans and Dragons. My name is Justin, and I'm going to be your guide to bringing your favorite League of Legends champions to life in D&D. Today we're building Annie, the oh my god, she just flashed Tibbers and killed our whole team. Before we jump in the build, this week's video is sponsored by Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt. This 350 plus page love letter to Lovecraft and Soulsborne enthusiasts everywhere comes packed with all the tools you need to create a true Eldritch horror experience for your D&D group. While the brand new Madness and Shifting Moon system look incredible, you know what we're here for on this channel, and that's the brand new character options presented. Sick of Warforged? The new mannequin race would make a great version of Galio or Oriana. Want a new twist to Cassidon? The Oath of the Eldritch Hunt will let you channel the strength of your prey, trading the precious remnants of your sanity for every bit of power you can muster to slay the gothic horrors that would harm your party and the people you hold dear. If that wasn't enough, we have over 20 brand new trick weapons, like the Meat Hookshot, giving us a cool version of Renata's Q, and several new weapon options that feel right up Aphelios' alley. With 4 adventures, over 12 races, 15 plus subclasses, and more than 50 new monsters for your players to fight, I can't recommend this grimdark grimoire enough. Join the hunt today by heading over to Kickstarter using the link down below. Annie is a story of tragedy and untamed raw power. Living in the mountains of Noxus, she was given a demon-bound teddy bear from her mother before she left and never returned. Her father, Grigori, married a woman who had a daughter of her own. Annie's stepmother was disturbed by her dark and violent crayon drawings, while her stepsister was terrified of Annie's fire powers. The two girls were playing by the river one day when a fairy flew by, causing both girls to chase it in glee. Annie's stepsister fell into the river, and when Annie tried to save her with Tibbers, the stress of the moment caused Tibbers to heat up, making her lose her grip, and she was carried away by the river. Her stepmother blamed her for her daughter's death, and the resulting fight caused Annie's power to begin to burn the house down. Her father carried her out as the building began to collapse, throwing Annie out as rubble came down on him, crushing him to death. The stepmother was now in a full tirade and attempted to tear Tibbers in half. Annie brought the bear to life for the first time, who slaughtered the stepmother. Now Annie wanders Runeterra with Tibbers, hoping to find a family that will accept her. Before we jump into the meat of the build, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you're always notified when we release our builds. We'd like to take a minute and thank our awesome patrons over on Patreon who support us every month. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on and my children from becoming pyromanic orphans. If you like our videos and want to support the channel, come join us over on Patreon today. Just a quick reminder that our Discord is now public for anyone to join. Details are down in my link tree below. Alright, now let's get into it. Here's a quick preview of the build. For race, we're going with custom lineage. Per usual, our stats are going to be determined using the standard array. For our stat priorities, we're going to max intelligence and dump strength. We do have a multi-class requirement of 13 in intelligence and dexterity. Our leveling path is going to be levels 1 through 4 in wizard. We'll take a 2-level dip in fighter to get our passive, and then we'll finish out the build as a wizard. Annie's passive, Pyromania, will work when you cast a spell and then action surge and cast hold person or monster against the targets hit by the spell. Her Q, Disintegrate, is Chromatic Orb. Our W, Incinerate, will be Burning Hands. Her E, Molten Shield, comes from Fire Shield and Haste for the speed boost. And finally we get our ultimate, Summon Tibbers, from Summon Fiend. For race, Annie is obviously a human, but we want her to be able to be sized as small, so we'll go with custom lineage. We'll get a +2 to our intelligence as our ability score increase, proficiency in animal handling for Tibbers, and a free feat. Fire resistance is something you're going to encounter a ton of in the game, so we'll wipe that out with Elemental Adept Fire. This is going to let our spells ignore resistance to fire damage, and when we roll a dreaded 1 on our damage die, we count them as 2s instead. For background, this is one of the easiest choices we could have made with Haunted One. Annie's trauma over losing her father is clearly still with her, and the people in your world will see that. We'll get skill proficiencies with Arcana and Survival, and the Heart of Darkness feature. This feature endears you to the people you'll meet across the world, causing them to want to help you as much as they can, even fighting by your side. For stats, we're going for the balance Annie achieved when Riot removed Deathfire Grasp from the game with the standard array. Roll if you want to, but keep at least a 13 in intelligence and dexterity for multiclassing purposes. We'll start off with our dexterity at a 15 to get our nimbleness on the rift, and so we can pull off that perfect skip step with Tibbers flopping around. Intelligence is going to be next as the main driving force for our spells. Constitution will be after that for helping us maintain concentration on Tibbers. Then we'll get our Charisma, since Annie is straight up terrifying. We'll have an average Wisdom and dumb Strength, because, you know, unique girl. Oh dear god, Tibbers, I was kidding! Alrighty, since Annie doesn't need any equipment, we'll kick off the class level portion of the build with some levels in Wizard. Wizards have a d6 hit die and give us the ability to cast spells and cantrips. We'll get our auto attacks with the Firebolt cantrip, which will let us hurl a small ball of fire at a creature, dealing 1d10 fire damage if you land the attack roll. This scales with level, so remember this at later levels when it hits like a truck. Next, we'll get our Q with a Chromatic Orb spell, letting us fire off a sphere of fire, dealing 3d8 fire damage if it hits. And our last spell this level is our W, Burning Hands. You brandish your hands, and waves of flame shoot out, forcing a dex save on everyone within a 15-foot cone of you. If they fail the save, they take 3d6 fire damage. Now your Q and W are powered with spell slots. How do we get those spell slots back, you might ask? Well, you do get them back every long rest. But wizards have a feature called Arcane Recovery at level 1 that'll let you recharge half your wizard level and spell slots during a short rest once per day. Second level wizards choose their Arcane Tradition, which is the type of magic they're planning on dedicating themselves to. We're going to make Tibbers a powerhouse with the School of Conjuration. Conjuration Savant will make our spells take half as long to add to our spellbook and cost half as much gold. Minor Conjuration is cool for roleplay, but Annie doesn't really need it. Level 3 wizards learn second level spells. We'll get the stun on our passive with Hold Person. You'll choose a humanoid or upcast a spell to target even more, and force a wisdom save on them. If they fail, they're paralyzed. At 4th level wizard, you'll get the first ability score improvement of the build. As always, we'll explain all of our choices here so you can pick and choose for yourself along the way. At wizard 4, we'll get the long range on our Q and autos with Spell Sniper. This feat doubles your range with any spell that uses an attack roll, like our Firebolt and Chromatic Orb. These attacks also ignore half and 3/4 cover. And from here, we'll go with all ability score increases. So, Wizard 8 and 12 will max our intelligence with 2 points at each level. Then, at Wizard 16, we'll round off our dexterity and constitution with a point each. We're going to multi-class at this point through Fighter, but since we don't care about any of our Fighter level 1 features really, we'll skip up to the important part here, which is Action Surge at level 2. Action Surge is going to let you pull off your passive, by letting you take 2 actions and thus casting 2 leveled spells on your turn. Now something to remember is that Tibbers requires concentration, and so does Hold Person. So your normal combos, like with Q and W, you can use the Action Surge Hold Person. But when you want to drop Tibbers on them, I would recommend using Psychic Scream as your Action Surge stunning spell. It's not quite perfect, but it'll get the job done. And we're back over to Wizard. Level 5 Wizards learn 3rd level spells. Haste is going to give us the movement speed boost from our E. We'll give ourselves or an ally double speed, +2 to our AC, advantage on dex saves, and an additional limited action. Watch out for when the spell ends though, because you won't be able to move or take actions until after your next turn. Level 7 Wizards learn 4th level spells. We're going to get the actual shielding portion of our E from Fire Shield. You'll be wrapped in wispy flames, generating light and becoming resistant to cold or fire damage. Also, whenever someone attacks you, the shield will deal 2d8 fire or cold damage to them. 10th level Conjuration Wizards get Focus Conjuration, which is going to help Tibbers stay with us for the whole team fight. As long as you're concentrating on a Conjuration spell, the concentration cannot be broken from taking damage. So your DM is going to need to bring out the CC if they want to kill the bear. Level 11 Wizards learn 6th level spells. We'll get Tibbers with Summon Fiend. You'll animate your teddy bear with a fiendish spirit, choosing between a demon, devil, or Yugoloth. We'll go with Yugoloth to get our claws and the beefiest hit point pool. You'll start with 60, but you'll get 15 more per upcasted spell level. Then, at 14th level, Conjuration Wizards get Durable Summons. So when we spawn Tibbers in, he'll start off with an extra 30 temporary hit points. For our final level, we'll get Spell Mastery, letting us cast Hold Person and Chromatic Orb without spending a spell slot to do so. We're going to be able to spam Q and W every round. Alright, now that we've completed the build, let's see how we did. First, the good. We have a ton of fire damage in this build. Also, Tibbers is going to be smashing for days. Now the bad. Not being able to drop a Tibbers stun is super depressing, but if you beg your DM, maybe they won't make Tibbers need concentration to maintain. I wouldn't count on it though. And the only other bad part is you're extremely squishy, with only around 120 hit points. So what'd you think? I've included a link to this build via D&D Beyond in the description below, as well as Amazon links to the books used in this build. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider supporting us on Patreon. We have a few awesome rewards. We plan on churning out one League Champion build every week. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll catch you on the Rift, or in the Forgotten Realms.